Nobody expected a single word to spark such a big conversation. There was no major interview, no bold prediction about the future, no declaration that Alex Eala would become the next world number one. There wasn't even a discussion about her tennis. Instead, Coco Gauff looked at Alex's latest photos and left one simple comment: gorgeous. That was it. Just one word. Yet within hours, tennis fans everywhere began talking. Not because the comment itself revealed anything dramatic, but because of who wrote it. Coco Gauff isn't just another professional player. She's one of the biggest names in women's tennis, a Grand Slam champion whose every social media interaction is watched by millions. When someone with that level of influence publicly acknowledges another player, even in the smallest way, people pay attention. But the real story isn't the compliment. It's what that moment reveals about Alex Eala's growing place in the tennis world. There was a time when Alex only made headlines after winning important matches. If she wasn't playing, most international fans barely knew her name. That is changing fast. Today, people aren't just following her results. They're following her interviews, her appearances, her journey, even the conversations happening around her. That's a completely different level of visibility. For any young athlete, that's a huge milestone. Because becoming a great player is one challenge. Becoming someone the world wants to watch, even away from competition, is a different game entirely. And Alex may be stepping into that stage right now. Of course, one Instagram comment doesn't guarantee future success. It doesn't prove Coco Gauff sees Alex as her biggest rival. It doesn't mean they're close friends. And it certainly doesn't predict future Grand Slam titles. But it does prove one thing: Alex's name has become big enough that even the smallest interaction spreads across the entire tennis world. That kind of attention isn't built overnight. It's built through years of sacrifice. And to understand this moment, you have to go back to where it all started. Alex grew up in the Philippines, a country full of passionate sports fans, but without a long history of producing elite tennis champions. Unlike players raised in traditional tennis powerhouses, she didn't have endless professional pathways waiting for her at home. To chase her dream, she had to leave everything behind. At a young age, she moved thousands of miles away to train at the Rafa Nadal Academy in Spain, adapting to a completely new environment while carrying the hopes of an entire nation on her shoulders. Every junior win raised expectations. Every tournament brought new pressure. People weren't just asking if she could become successful. They were asking if she could do something no Filipino player had ever done before. For years, the answer stayed uncertain. Then came Miami. That tournament changed everything. Facing one of the world's elite players, on one of tennis' biggest stages, she delivered the kind of win that forced the entire tennis world to take her seriously. Suddenly, Alex wasn't just an exciting prospect from the Philippines. She was a genuine threat, someone capable of taking down established champions. The reaction was instant. Filipino fans celebrated around the world. International media locked in. Casual tennis fans searched her name for the very first time. Her ranking climbed. But more importantly, her reputation transformed. From that moment on, every tournament carried bigger expectations. Every appearance pulled a bigger crowd. Every match felt like another chapter in a story millions wanted to follow. And that's exactly why Coco Gauff's one-word comment blew up the way it did. A year earlier, Alex needed a stunning upset just to get global attention. Now a single photo, and one word from one of the biggest stars in tennis, was enough to make headlines. That shift says far more about Alex's rise than the compliment itself. But social media attention is one thing. Standing across the net from Coco Gauff in a real match is something else entirely. And when the two finally collided on court, Alex got a brutal reminder of exactly how far the climb to the top really is. The first time Alex Eala faced Coco Gauff, reality hit fast. It was the kind of matchup every rising player dreams about, a chance to test herself against one of the biggest names in the sport. On paper, it looked like the perfect opportunity. On the court, it became a painful lesson. From the very first game, Coco controlled everything. She served with total confidence, attacked early in the rallies, and gave Alex zero time to settle in. Every time Alex tried to find her rhythm, Coco slammed the door shut before it could open. The first set was gone in minutes. 6-0. The second set wasn't much better. Alex fought hard, but Coco's experience took over. She dictated the pace, handled the big points with cold precision, and closed the match out without allowing any real comeback. The final score made one thing brutally clear. The gap between a rising star and an established Grand Slam champion was still massive. For a lot of athletes, a beatdown like that leaves scars. It plants self-doubt. It can make future matchups feel hopeless before the first ball is even hit. But Alex chose a different response. Instead of making excuses, she took the result for exactly what it was, a wake-up call that reaching the top demands constant growth. She understood that talent alone wouldn't close that gap. Every part of her game still needed work. Her serve needed more consistency. Her movement under pressure had to get sharper. Her decision-making in long rallies had to speed up. And most of all, she had to believe that one bad loss wasn't going to define her. That belief was about to be tested, again. Only weeks later, the schedule threw her a curveball. Alex would face Coco Gauff a second time. Almost everyone expected a repeat of the first match. Players rarely close a gap that big in just a few weeks. But from the opening game, something felt completely different. Alex walked out with real confidence. She wasn't reacting to Coco anymore. She was making Coco react to her. Instead of hanging back behind the baseline, she stepped in and attacked early. Her shot selection got more aggressive. Her body language screamed a player who had learned from every single mistake made in Dubai. This was not the same Alex. She played with purpose. She trusted her game. And the scoreboard proved it. Alex took the first set 6-2, stunning everyone who expected another blowout. Then she carried that momentum straight into the second set, jumping ahead again. For the first time ever, it was Coco chasing the match instead of controlling it. This was one of Alex's most impressive performances against elite competition, full stop. The transformation was impossible to ignore. Only weeks earlier, she'd managed to win just 2 games. Now, she was dictating rallies against one of the best players on the planet. It looked like proof her development was accelerating in real time. Then, right as the match hit its most crucial stretch, everything shifted. Coco started feeling pain in her left arm. After treatment, she made the tough call to retire from the match. Officially, Alex got the win. But emotionally, the story was left hanging. Some fans pointed at the scoreboard and celebrated a massive breakthrough. Others said the retirement left too many questions unanswered. Would Alex have closed it out if the match had continued? Would Coco have found a way back? Nobody will ever know for sure. What everyone could see, though, was Alex's genuine improvement. However that match ended, she'd already proven something huge. She wasn't intimidated anymore. She'd taken the pain of Dubai and turned it into fuel. At the net, there was no drama, no controversy, no tension. Coco respected Alex's performance, and Alex returned that respect. It was a quiet moment between two competitors who both understood exactly how brutal this sport can be. Months later, when Coco commented "gorgeous" under Alex's photos, fans instantly connected it to that shared history. They remembered Dubai. They remembered Indian Wells. They remembered exactly how fast Alex had evolved. The comment had nothing to do with tennis. But because of everything that had already happened between them, fans couldn't help but see it as one more sign. Alex Eala was becoming impossible to ignore. But the biggest transformation in Alex's journey wasn't happening on social media. It was happening somewhere much bigger. On the biggest stages in tennis, where millions were just starting to find out who she really was. By this point, Alex Eala had earned something a lot of talented players chase for years and never get. People cared. Not just about her wins. Not just about her ranking. They cared about her story. That might sound small, but in pro sports, it's one of the biggest shifts an athlete can experience. Winning earns respect. Building a real connection with millions of fans creates something much bigger. It creates expectation. Now, wherever Alex travels, Filipino supporters fill the stands with flags, chants, and belief. Every match feels bigger than just tennis. For a lot of fans, she's representing an entire nation that's waited decades to see one of its own compete at the top level. That kind of support is powerful. But it comes with a heavy price. Every win becomes a national celebration. Every loss becomes a national gut punch. That's the reality of becoming more than just an athlete. Alex isn't just another young player climbing the rankings anymore. She's becoming a symbol. Young players in the Philippines now see proof that reaching the biggest tournaments isn't just a fantasy. Parents see a new pathway for their kids. Fans see someone carrying their country's name onto courts that once felt completely out of reach. You can't measure that impact with ranking points, but you also can't measure the pressure that comes with it. As Alex's popularity keeps climbing, the spotlight gets brighter and hotter. Every interview gets attention. Every appearance gets discussed online. Every photo spreads across social media. Even one comment from a Grand Slam champion turns into international news. Fame often grows faster than performance ever can. And that's exactly where young athletes hit their biggest wall. The outside world starts expecting perfection long before a player's game is fully developed. The public sees the highlight reel. They don't see the endless practice sessions, the painful losses, the injuries, or the constant adjustments happening behind closed doors. Alex is still learning, still sharpening her serve, still refining her movement, still figuring out answers against the best players in the world. None of that changes just because social media is watching. Professional tennis is still brutally honest. The court doesn't reward popularity. It rewards execution. Her next tournaments won't care how many people shared her photos. They won't care which famous player commented online. Every opponent will ask the exact same questions. Can she hold serve when the pressure hits its peak? Can she recover physically after brutal matches? Can she stay calm when every result becomes a headline? Can she keep improving while millions of eyes are on her? Those answers won't come from Instagram. They'll come from the court. Luckily, Alex has already shown one quality that gives every reason for optimism: resilience. After the brutal loss in Dubai, she didn't let one defeat crush her confidence. She studied it, she accepted it, then she came back stronger. That willingness to learn might be her biggest weapon. The greatest players in history aren't remembered because they never struggled. They're remembered because every setback became another step forward. Alex has already shown she has that mindset. Now she's going to need it more than ever. The higher she climbs, the harder every challenge gets. Opponents will study her game closer and closer. Expectations will keep rising. Pressure will follow her into every tournament she enters. But those are the exact challenges every future champion has to face eventually. So what did Coco Gauff's one-word comment actually reveal? Not that Alex is guaranteed to become world number one. Not that they're close friends. Not that one compliment changes her future. It revealed something much simpler and much bigger. Alex Eala has reached a point where the tennis world notices her, even when there's no match being played. That's a massive milestone. A few years ago, she needed a major upset just to grab international attention. Today, her presence alone creates conversation. That's real, undeniable progress. But attention only opens the door. Performance is what keeps it open. The next chapters of Alex's career won't be written under social media posts. They'll be written under stadium lights, against the best players on earth, one match at a time. The spotlight has arrived. Now comes the hardest part: living up to it. Because in the end, fame can introduce the world to Alex Eala, but only consistent performance will convince the world to stay.